Hey everybody, I hope you're doing fantastic today. My name is Marcus, this is Discover Ignite, and today I have another book review for you guys. Now this particular book is on mindset. Yes, it is one of the things that I find tremendous value in that can lead you to success in life is mindset. It's all in your mind, and this book breaks it down perfectly. Now this book, Mindset, is by Carol Dweck. And it is a phenomenal book that goes into, the two different types of mindset. There's a fixed mindset and then there's a growth mindset. And what I love about this book is it goes through, the different main categories in life, right? It goes into, relationships, it goes into careers, and goes into child development. So I'm sure, have touched on two of the three at most out of those, and it goes into many other things, but it takes the different scenarios, especially like in relationships, right? It goes about into how somebody with a fixed mindset would approach a relationship issue and what they would be saying and thinking during that particular situation. And then it also takes the other side of the growth mindset and actually gets into what they would be saying and thinking. And it's a very insightful, very valuable book that can teach you an extraordinary amount on how to just approach anything in life in general, and to really keep you in check. Am I in that fixed mindset? Is this something that I need to be more open about and be more growth? Yes, it's just because it seems this way that I'm just going to let that be the end all be all, or am I going to actually try to change it and make it better? And that's what this book just shows you. It has research in there about, especially like child development, about how if you tell kids specific things, they're going to latch on to the words, specific words that you're saying, and then they're going to actually, that's going to affect them the rest of their life. And how you approach the whole subject can make them actually think that they'll just be in a fixed mindset their whole life and assume that they're not good because I was told that, when I was younger that I was just good and I just wasn't going to get any better. And that's, again, this is why this book is so valuable, and it's got tremendous research in it. It's got tremendous knowledge. And one of the best parts of the book I actually found intriguing was that it goes into the story of John McEnroe and how he, initially loved tennis, right? But because of his dad's persistence in pushing him, he ended up hating the sport. And he actually got to the point, yes, he did win championships, but he got to the point where he thought his mind was so fixed that he didn't think any more practice would get him any better, right? So that's what ultimately led to his demise. And it also touches on, Michael Jordan as well, about how he came out of retirement and then he just, he thought it was natural talent, but when in fact it wasn't, because that year he came back, he wasn't nearly as good as he was. And then he realized that he had to step up his game and he had to work like he used to be able to get that talent back. And that is one of the biggest things, is you have to understand that success is all about a mindset, right? And if you can push yourself, if you can drive yourself, knowing that you can fix it, this is exactly how you're going to get through life. And I've just, after reading this book, I really started going through a lot of different times in my life and was like, well, how did I approach this specific time in my life? And I find out there was a lot of times when I was very fixed, and I think it all came back to is being a kid. And, I used to be very outgoing, and I used to also be, heavy and shy. And there was a point in my life where, you're just told that, it's better to be quiet than to be talking all the time, because I was very chatty at one point, and I didn't like being shy anymore. I wanted to be outgoing, and I tried it, and it was like I got burned when I did that. And so it's just a big thing in life. You have to really know that you can always grow, right? To not allow things that have happened in your past to fixate you, that you aren't good at anything anymore, that you can still grow no matter what. That you don't have to be satisfied with what somebody has told you, that you aren't any good, right? And it's just, again, eye-opening, especially on the relationship part. There's a lot of good things in there. about how somebody with a fixed mindset thinks that you can't grow, right? In a relationship, you won't ever be able to grow if if you essentially cling on to specific things, right? And you don't like the way somebody does something. Well, if you would just tell them that and then realize that a person can grow out of that and that nobody is perfect, right? And you're only going to get people that are essentially, everybody has their faults, right? But you have to realize that yes, they will grow. They will, as long as you address them, they won't know. They can't read your mind. They will grow. And there's some great benefits out of the book that really just are very eye-opening. And I really did some self-analysis and being self-aware on what I have been approached, and to try to really keep an open mind, especially like the child development and stuff. Like I said, there's all these different aspects that affect my life in particular that they all meant something to me, right? And there wasn't a time in the book where I didn't get something and then you kind of value, right? It had so many different scenarios, which a lot of them I've been through. So I was like, wow, this is a good way to approach it and a good way to see it. And especially like development, you want to be able to help children without hindering them, right? And not allowing them to grow, because especially as your kids, you think about this. When you're kids, you don't have any expectations or anything, and you're free thinking, right? And then we're molded into this idea that you can only do so good so much, and that if you don't score a 90 on a test, that makes that you're limited and you're just no good at that. And that's what's hard, is that kind of situation would have to be approached differently, right? Yes, you did bad, but what did you do to prep ahead of time, right? Did you actually study? How much effort did you put into it? And it's just the way you approach different things. If you approached it in a growth mindset, it would help tremendously and leave a great impact, right? So I hope you guys like this review. This book, I think, was absolute gold. There was tremendous value in this book, and I know anybody that would pick it up would get absolute value. This is like a must read. This is definitely one of my top 3 reads, that's for sure, if not number 1, because I've always been talking about mindset, and this book is phenomenal. So again, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. I do have some more book reviews if you guys want to check those out, and if you know anybody who would like this book, please share it with them. And aside from that, until next time, I will see you guys later.